Let's read the big question together. Everybody.
This is Alexis Diggins' third grade class at Wilson Elementary.
Is the title of that section.
In just a couple months, these students will take the IREAD test.
And how do you feel?
I feel confident, but also there is, we kind of have to keep the pace going.
The IREAD is Indiana's reading assessment. Last year was the first year that third graders who didn't pass had to be held back.
Remember, in 2025, 84,000 third graders took the IREAD. Of those, 73,000 passed. That represented about 87% of third graders. It was a 5-point increase from the previous year and the largest single-year increase since the assessment began in 2013. This is something Operation Education has covered extensively over the past several months since the state released its IREAD data in August. What wasn't included in that data is what happened to all the students who didn't pass.
I would now like to call to order the November 5th, 2025 meeting of the Indiana State Board of Education.
Recently, the Indiana Department of Education unveiled its IREAD Good Cause Exemption Dashboard, which provides a detailed look at IREAD pass rates and what students are doing after the test.
This is important, right? Because every one of those 3,000 is a kid, a human being, right?
This is the dashboard. You can search by corporation or by school. You can see how many third grade students did not pass the IREAD in 2025. You can search how many received good cause exemptions, and you can see how many were ultimately retained. I dug through the data. It shows statewide, of the 10,663 third grade students who did not pass the IREAD in 2025, nearly 7,000 received a good cause exemption. State law allows for only a handful of good cause exemptions to avoid retention. In fact, of the good cause exemptions, most, 75%, were for students in special education. Another 24% were for English learners. State leaders said those students will move on to fourth grade, but will continue to receive intentional targeted reading support and take the IREAD every year until they pass. The data shows 3,713 third graders did not receive a good cause exemption, and most of those students, 3,040, were retained or held back in the third grade. 673 students moved out of state or are being homeschooled. State leaders say it is very important to track each student, so they're ensuring that when they move on to the fourth grade in Indiana, they're doing so with the ability to read.
State leaders say they're remaining laser focused on following what's happening in schools to help those students. And this impacts schools across Indiana. In nearly all our area districts, there were third graders who were retained this school year.
I gathered the good cause exemption and retention data for several area schools, starting in Elkhart County. In Concord Community Schools, 85% of students passed. Ultimately, 16 students were either retained or not enrolled. Elkhart Community Schools, 80% passed the IREAD, 111 were either retained or not enrolled. In Goshen Community Schools, 78% of third graders passed, 80 received a good cause exemption, and 25 did not. In St. Joseph County, 41 Mishawaka third graders did not pass the IREAD last year. 28 received a good cause exemption, and the 13 students who did not were retained. In PHM, 94% of third grade students passed the IREAD last year. 45 received a good cause exemption, 7 did not. And in our area's largest school district, 71% of third graders at South Bend schools passed the IREAD. 117 received a good cause exemption, 160 did not.
Came out of here. What did you learn from it? What do you remember?
This school year, Diggins hopes all her students pass so they can all move on to fourth grade together.
They end up performing as well as they can, just trying to give them that encouragement to do their absolute best and express the importance of the test, but also not put such an emphasis that we take out the fun of learning.
I'm John Paul. Thanks for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.